Hi, I'm Brian from Atomic-Moto, and I'm here to do a review of another new Sidi model, the X-Power SC. First, a little background on the X-Power SC. This is a variation of another Sidi model that I've tried and ridden in quite a bit, and I really like the Sidi X-Power, the standard model. Now the SC is very similar to that, except it has a different type of sole on the bottom. And to our way of thinking, it is aimed at two things. Well, first of all, for us in our store, we are considering this boot something that is aimed at adventure riders and dual sporters and off-road riders that want a lighter boot. And in Sidi's view, in our opinion, this is aimed squarely at the Alpine Stars Tech 7. Let me hit some of the basics of the X-Power SC. Now, first of all, this boot comes in size 6 US or 39 EU, all the way up to a size 15 US or 50 EU, which is a fantastically broad size range, covers just about everybody out there that is interested in this boot. It weighs 3.56 pounds for this size 43, which is a 9.5 in Sidi's scale. That is fantastically light, and it is 1 to 1.5 pounds lighter than most every other off-road boot out there. And it is in fact almost a half pound lighter than the X-Power, the standard X-Power version. Really one of the lightest boots available. It comes in 5 colors as of the filming of this video. They brought back this awesome gray, which I have on the standard version. I really like it. I'm sure they'll cycle in other colors as time goes on. It is $399 again as of the filming of this video, and the X-Power SC is made in Romania. Let's talk about the construction of the X-Power SC. Now this is a very simple design. That's a very good thing in our opinion. There is lots of plastic coverage though. So it's simple, but lots of plastic coverage. I'll spin that around for camera 2 so you can see it. So there's lots of protection around the sides of the boot, but it still flexes very well. Why? Because it has a great mechanical hinge. And this one is a single pivot hinge. It has a pivot on the outer and a pivot on the inner side. And I'll flex it here for camera 2, but it works quite well. So again, the combination of lots of plastic plus that hinge means this boot protects you really well, but it's quite easy to flex and shift and brake and of course walk in. They do some clever things on it too, like they have this little strut here that goes over the back of the boot at the Achilles area. That's great. If a foot peg comes up and smacks you, it gives you really good support there, but yet the boot still flexes really well because as you can see, there's a little sort of flex panel underneath that. It's a 4-buckle boot. Sidi's buckles are outstanding. They're really simple to operate. They have this micro adjustable system that you can do in a set and forget manner. You simply pop the buckle out, put it to the length that you want, and then you pop it back in by twisting it, and then every time you put the boot on, it is in that position. Now the buckles are really sturdy, and they are replaceable, but I don't think you'd ever have to because these boots, again, these buckles are really durable. Has a silicone burn guard here on the inside. This is nice and big, and it actually is in a great position to grip the bike with the inside of your leg. And then incidentally, on top of that, I was talking about clever details about the plastic design. Sidi does this one thing here along the inner side of the boot where the plastic comes up and it's sort of convex almost, and that affects the protection, and again I'll get into that later. It's got nice padding on the inside. It's polyethylene. It's not memory foam, but that's not something that you would expect at this price point. And the benefit of polyethylene foam on the inside is a little bit more comfortable initially, and it makes the boot lighter. And again, this boot is super duper light. And then the most interesting or most important detail about this new X-Power SC, there's a different variation of the standard X-Power, is that it has a bonded sole. And so typically we prefer welt sole boots, and so when this came out, we had some questions about it. Talked to the Sidi importer. They explained why they're producing and positioning the boot the way that they are, and I really like their rationale, and again I'll get to that later. But the sole design, it's got a little bit of a lugging pattern. It's nice and tactile. Now I couldn't ride in this boot yet, but it is a little bit softer compound than some of the welt sole boots, so I imagine this is going to give really good peg feedback. In addition to that, that combined with the hinge means it'll work quite well for shifting and braking. Now, one thing that Sidi does on this boot, like they do on all theirs, they're very conscientious about the height of the toe box. And if you look at the forefoot of this boot, It's really slim, and that means it's easy to get under the shift lever. So between the combination of the mechanical hinge, the nice tactile rubber compound, and the slim toe, this boot should give very good feedback for the controls. Spotlighting the protection of the X-Power SC, this is an area where this boot absolutely shines. It shines especially at its price point, but it also does so in general compared to all other boots available. Why? Few things. First of all, lots of plastic coverage. That's a no-brainer. Clever ideas like this little strut over the Achilles area. That's also kind of obvious. But here's the cool thing about the X-Power SC. Now, the way that this plastic is designed on the upper part of the hinge, it means that it is fantastic for lateral support in this direction, which is exactly the motion that happens if you're falling over and the bike is falling on you. This boot has fantastic support for the shaft. Also, the midsole, this zone of the boot, is quite good for flex. I cannot bend it. It's about as stiff as a welt sole boot, and so that's great if you have a frontal impact, and much better than its sort of main competitor, the Alpinestars Tech 7, which flexes very easy at the forefoot, perhaps almost too easy in our opinion. There's lots of crush protection around the boot. It's very solid in the toe, so if you drop something, again, like a motorcycle on your toe, it's got great crush protection there. Great crush protection, all the way up the shaft. This boot has just got lots and lots of coverage. It's a firm plastic. It's not a softer plastic like some of the other models that are coming from some of the other brands that are really trying to win you over in the showroom. This boot has outstanding protection. Time to talk about the fit of the X-Power SC, and I've got a big grin on my face because I can't wait to tell you that this boot is super wide. Super wide. This boot is super wide. Now, Sidi, the brand, has a reputation for fitting narrow, and that is untrue. There are some models in their line that really drive the overall perception of how their boots fit, but they don't all fit the same way. Not every model fits the same way. Great example is the Crossfire. Crossfire comes in an SRS version, that's narrow, TA version, which is super wide. Well, the X-Power SC is wider than that. It is wider than any Guerney. It is probably the widest boot in the forefoot that we have tried. And it's also ultra narrow in the heel. So I'm going to show you this on camera too. First of all, let me get a good overhead view of that so you can really see that. And then a good view of the sole area and see how narrow that is. I'm going to pull these two up side by side and make sure you get a nice view of that. Now, I want you to visibly notice how the contours of the SC here on this side are compared to the standard Sidi. Normally a glued sole boot is narrower, not in this case. I don't know how they did it, but they did it. They made this Sidi X-Power SC boot have a great wide fit, and that is something that everybody asks for. So I'm sure that it's going to be really popular for that reason. On top of that, many times, because of the way that the toe is constructed, glued sole boots, bonded sole boots tend to be really tall and sloppy vertically. They tend to have a lot of negative space. This one does not. We tried this boot on 6 separate people in a size 9.5 43, which is actually me soliciting a lot of people that I knew to come in and compare them. And every single one of them, without exception, preferred the fit of this compared to this, and also compared to a very popular Guerney. So what I can tell you with great happiness is that this boot is a wide fit and also a great fit. Time for comments on the X-Power SC. Now, I have been reading, this is my personal pair of the standard Sidi X-Power model. This one is nice and dirty. I cleaned this one up. Size 46, 11.5, and I really like these. They're one of my favorite pairs of boots that are in my regular rotation. I like them because they're really protective, they're really light, they're still quite easy to work in, and the quality of them is fantastic. This model, I haven't ridden in it yet because we only have this one pair of size 43s, but this boot already seems like I am going to prefer it more. And when we get the full production run in, I'm actually going to pull a pair of 46s off the shelf and I'll do a full field review on them because, again, I think this is going to be one of my favorite models. But this is a fantastic execution of a really clever design. Why? A few things. First of all, the weight. The weight of this thing is stellar. It is so much lighter than every other off-road boot out there we've tried in a very, very long time. That's fantastic. The protection level of it is not compromised by that lightweight. It's a really clever design, lots of plastic coverage, still is very protective. The sole, now I do prefer, as a purist, I do prefer a welt sole, but this one's pretty compelling because it improves the fit and because I'm sure that the tactility of it is going to be fantastic. The price point of it is great. At $399, this is super competitive. And again, we think that we're going to position this boot for our customers that are doing adventure riding and off-road riding and dual sport and things like that. But this boot is clearly aimed at the Alpinestars Tech 7, which is the most successful and popular boot sold. This is so much better than a Tech 7. I can't say that enough. The hinge on it is excellent. I'm going to flex that again. I'll do this side, and then again I'll grab it on this side, and I'll try to flex that back and forth. The hinge on this boot just really works. And then I've ridden in this boot, this standard version, I've ridden this boot 20 plus times, which is probably 100 plus hours of use. And it is super durable. There's almost no wear. I'll just spin this around so you can see it. That's dirty as heck, and there's some scuff marks on it. But there's no wear anywhere on the boot, nothing falling off of it. The sole wear is fantastic. This is one of the most durable boots that we sell. And there's this thing that is really important. A lot of times when you have a design that comes out of the product team, when you look at it on paper, it's really good, but it can be either executed well, or they can kind of mess it up a little bit as it goes through the development and into the production process. Man, this thing is just spectacular. It is a great finished product model. So it's got, again, great durability, great protection, a nice wide fit, seems like it's going to have great tactility for the controls. It's a fantastic price point. This thing looks like it's going to be one of the most competitive designs out there, and I can't wait till the production comes in to begin selling them. And then again, I'm going to take a pair for myself in size 46 and do a nice deep dive, and I'll do a review video there. But this X-Power SC, let me say it in this way. I was not expecting to like this boot as much as I did. It looks like it's a fantastic choice, and it's absolutely something that should go on your short list and you should take a hard look at. And with that, I'm going to wrap up this video review and say we are Atomic-Moto, www.atomic-moto.com, home of the bombers. We are mission focused on finding great product, getting to know them and getting to know how they work so we can explain that to you. We have a great YouTube channel. We would love it if you click like on this video and click subscribe for future ones. And as always, we hope to see you somewhere out on your motorcycle. See ya.